In class today, you told me that looking at a less than perfect student paper helps. So I thought that was such a great idea. I found a good but less than perfect student iSearch, and the purpose of this video is to walk us through it. So you can see that it is set up double spaced. You have a heading, you have a header, but look here. There are extra lines in between the heading and the title. You don't need that. And so I'm going to take them out. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to look. Notice also that November needs to be abbreviated. Alright, so let's remember what the introduction needs to do. In your introduction, you need an attention getter, state the topic, what did you know about your topic before you started researching, what's your research question, and finally, what's your thesis. So as a child, I had crazy dreams. My dreams got so weird that I would keep a dream journal to write down all my vivid dreams. That journal is still fun to look at. As I've gotten older, my dreams have become less vivid and memorable and more boring. I forget my dreams 10 minutes after I wake up. I miss the crazy dreams, and even though I don't have them very often, I am still curious about them, maybe even more than I used to be. Because I've had so many kinds of weird dreams, I've gotten curious about the different categories of dreams. I want to know about the types of dreams. So right there, I'm stating my topic. Everything leading up to it, that's the student's lead-in, the attention getter. So now she's going to tell us what she knew before she started her research. Before I started to research dreams, I knew some categories of dreams, but I did not know any details about the kinds of dreams that people have or how different each dream is. Alright, that's what I knew before I started researching. Here's the research question that she has. What are the different kinds of dreams? And look, question mark. It's a question. And then here's the thesis. There are many different types of dreams a person can experience, but the top 3 most experienced dreams are nightmares, lucid dreams, and daydreams. And there's the thesis. Okay. Looking for my sticky note again. There it is. Attention getter, state the topic. What did you know before you started researching? What's your question? And what's your thesis? Okay, now let's look at the body paragraph. It's going to be about nightmares. The first kind of common dream would be a nightmare. Topic sentence. And then she's just going to tell us stuff we already know. Nightmares are dreams, but they are disturbing and can be frightening, so understanding some facts about nightmares can help people cope better. So this sentence right here kind of sets you up for her generalizations. It doesn't tell you what the generalization is yet. It just says, okay, this paragraph is going to discuss different facts. Okay, so I told you that this was not a perfect paper. She says a web article entitled Nightmares gives some background on this type of dream as well as an explanation of possible causes. Okay, so here is our first generalization, and she's kind of crunched the first 2 parts of citing a source into one sentence. And it's actually okay. So she tells what idea the source is going to support, and she gives me the signal that she's not in her own voice anymore. She is in the voice of her source. I kind of like it when you split those two, but you don't have to. I think this works fine. So here's what the paraphrase is going to explain, and then here's my signal that we're moving from her voice to her source's voice. So, and you can see it's kind of a big paraphrase. And it has to be a big paraphrase because she's already promised that this source is going to give us background on this type of dream and why it happens. So the author says that most people have at least 5 nightmares a year. People go through sleep cycles, with the deepest sleep occurring in the REM cycle, the rapid eye movement. REM happens 90 minutes after a person falls asleep, and this is when nightmares usually occur. Nightmares can lead to fears, terror, and anxiety, which causes a disturbed emotional response. Many different factors cause nightmares, but anxiety, stress, and sleep deprivation are significant causes of nightmares. Another cause of nightmares is sleep disorders or side effects of medication. So, going back to here, we've gone to 1, 2, and 3. Here is my parenthetical citation. There's no period here. I don't have an author, so I'm going to do the title in parentheses, and because it's a title, I have to do the quotation marks, close my parentheses, period. Okay, now not a perfect paper, because look what happens next. Next, she goes straight into her next generalization. And what does she need to do? She needs to warrant this source. She needs to say something about it. And so, why is it important to understand this general information? So, understanding this general information about nightmares demystifies them a little bit. Okay, and so up here, we're going back to, okay, we're talking about facts. Wouldn't it be useful to have a signal sentence? Another important fact about nightmares is who suffers from them. Everybody has nightmares. And then not only do adults have nightmares, children do too, and even worse than adults. Usually when people think of nightmares, they think of children because of how common they are in children. So, here we go. This is the sentence that tells what the source is going to show. Boom. Here's our person signaling the source by name. According to Romeo Vitelli, use his full name the first time you use him. Children can vividly remember some nightmares in later years. Although nightmares are prevalent in children, there are not a lot of studies about nightmares in children. And now Vitelli is done. Open parentheses. You put his name in there because you have a name. If you have an author's name, you should use it. Close parentheses, period, and then nightmares can cause children a lot of distress and can affect their everyday lives. Okay, so there's a warrant for the source. And now we're going to go to our third fact. All of these factors are a big reason why we have nightmares, but luckily we can attempt to prevent nightmares. That's my third generalization, her third generalization. Although there is no cure for nightmares, a person can take actions that can reduce these types of dreams. Okay, so this is the sentence that, say it with me, tells what the source is going to show. According to Danette C. Taylor, establishing a bedtime and routine will reduce the occurrence of nightmares. She also advises to make bedtime a safe time by doing soothing activities right before bed. And she parenthetically cites. Now, I want you to see this because some of you are going to do this and I don't want you to. Read just a little bit further on. Stopping things that have anything to do with light or gives energy or give energy before bed will fall under those preventions. For children, using a nightlight will help reduce stress and anxiety. So it's exactly the same source, back to back. You don't need two parenthetical citations. There. Okay? So, and you can see clearly there are a couple more things that have to be done. Number one, we've got to warrant the source. And number two, we have to conclude the paragraph. Okay, so people who are stressed and plagued by nightmares are not helpless. They can take positive steps to prevent them. So there, I just warranted my source. And now I'm going to slide back up here to my topic sentence. And my conclusion has to say something about nightmares. Nightmares are probably the most dreaded type of common dream. The kind of dream that nobody looks forward to. So what did I do there? I concluded my paragraph. Okay, so title, introduction, first body paragraph, and then the last thing you have to do is you have to include your works cited page. Look, oh my gosh, don't do this. So right here, I am going to insert a page break. And see, it just bumped me to the next page. And so I'm going to move the works cited page up to the top. And here's her works cited page. So real quickly, hers is pretty well done. You don't need an author unless there's an actual person. And so now this one alphabetically needs to be, needs to be moved up top. Okay, and everything else looks good. So this is a good example of a partial draft that was pretty good, but not quite perfect.